Stop apologizing for having standards and then sticking to your standards. Not everybody's going to understand the things that you want to accomplish and the behaviors that are necessary to reflect what you want to accomplish. Now, setting standards is a form of self-respect, whether you're talking about you individually, a team you're on, culture of a business or an organization, or the expectations you have of your family and other family members. The problem, though, is whether you're talking about yourself or other people that you're in charge of or you influence, you can't hold people to standards you haven't set. So if you set standards for yourself and you decide that's what you want to stand for, your character, your values, morals, principles, all the mission, vision, all those things that we talk about, and then you determine the behaviors that you need to show to reflect what you say you stand for, that also means defining the things you don't get to do anymore. I want to be a really good husband. That means I don't get to flirt and sleep around anymore. Should I have to say those things? Not necessarily, but it's beneficial that I do. Why? Because it's setting the standard. It's saying that not only this is what I stand for, but these are the behaviors necessary to reflect. So when somebody meets me, when they meet me, they hung out with me, maybe it's a friend I haven't seen in a long time and my life circumstances have changed a little bit or a lot. And, I get an old military buddy that's like, hey, let's go out to the bar and get hammered. No, I don't do that anymore. Okay, so what's the response going to be? Is it going to be a respectful, okay, well, let's go do something anyway? Or it's going to be, oh, are you sure this is what you used to do, you big wuss? People do that, right? Even old friends, whether it's, lightly, razzing you, busting your butt, or legitimate, oh, I don't realize you've changed, so I'm going to treat you like the person that you were before. And I can very confidently say, that's not who I am anymore. If that person chooses to disrespect the standards and the behaviors that I've set for myself, then that person is no longer value to my life. It actually makes things easier for you. Set a standard, you determine the behaviors that reflect that standard. With a lot of the athletes that I work with, I call this the sports magazine article exercise. If I were to follow you around for a week, or a reporter from a magazine was to follow you around for a week, and you didn't know it, and you had no way to influence or determine what was going to be said in this other than what you did and what they observed of you, what would that article say? Somebody calls you on a Tuesday afternoon, hey, I read that article about you. You're like, what article? Are you worried about what that article is going to say? Or are you confidently wondering, oh, I wonder what that article says? Because your behaviors reflect who you truly are and what you really believe. You can say whatever you want about who you are and what you believe, but your behaviors will determine who you really are. And so having that conversation with yourself, having the self-awareness of who I want to be and what I stand for, and then having standards to say this is what I will or will not do based on what I want to accomplish, those are standards for you. You have now set the standard of acceptable and unacceptable behavior, required and no longer allowed behaviors. This is an exercise that I've done with the rugby team over at GCU, essentially over the past 2.5 years, to help define their culture. And it was a conversation I had with them recently. Some things have gotten a little bit lax in certain areas, and I had to have the reminder conversation that if you want to be part of this team, this is who we are, this is who we stand for. These are the values that we stand for. These are the behaviors that reflect or take away from what we are trying to build here. And so just like your life is deserves your definition, right? Your form of self-respect is you setting standards and sticking to your standards, because it shows that you have value. You value yourself and you value your life, and nobody else has the right to come in and take away from the value of your life. And if they try to, then you might want to reconsider the value that they offer you. And yes, that includes close family and friends, because nobody, including blood relatives, has the right, just because they're family. I've run into this numerous times. Just because somebody is family does not give them the right to anything. They're not entitled to treat me bad simply because they are mother, brother, sister, dad, grandma, grandpa, sons, daughters. You are not entitled to treat me bad simply because you are my family. I don't understand why people have that. It seems like a lot of families that I know, the expectation and the entitlement is, oh, you are my family, so I have the right to treat you bad, and I will treat you bad. No, that's not okay. I have said that through years of taking care of myself, I've determined that I'm no longer okay with that. I'm setting the standard. And so I would hope that you would do some self-reflection of what is acceptable and what is unacceptable in your life. What is required and what is no longer allowed. And once you're able to start defining those things, you're going to find yourself having less drama, because you're going to decide now what is of value and what is no longer of value in your life. So do some self-reflection and think of what that looks like for you. Who does that apply to? How do you apply those things? And how do you confidently move forward once you have decided what you want your life to look and feel like? I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your feedback, whether it be challenges you have experienced or you are experiencing now. What does that look like for you? I'd love to hear, how do you define what you want your life to be? How do you define how you want your life to feel? Drop that in the comments. Send me a message. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you.